He was a man in chains, dragged through the dirt, nameless, faceless, one of many. The world saw him as property, not a person. But even in the darkness, even through pain and humiliation, there was something in his eyes that never broke, a spark of defiance, of love, of vengeance waiting to be born. And then fate intervened, in the form of a stranger. Not a savior in shining armor, but a man with sharp words, sharper wit, and a mind built for survival. He wasn't there for mercy. He was there for business. But something in this broken man caught his attention. Something rare, something powerful. He made him an offer, freedom for help, a partnership forged not in trust but in necessity. And so began an unlikely alliance, two men from opposite worlds, bound by a shared goal to hunt monsters for profit. But for one of them, the goal was never just money, it was love. Somewhere out there, the woman he had lost, sold, beaten, broken, was still alive. Every step, every bullet, every deal brought him closer to her. The fire in his heart burned hotter than revenge. It was devotion, fierce, desperate, unstoppable. Together, they carved their path through the South, a world of cruelty dressed in elegance, where humanity was measured in skin and lives were traded like cattle. They hunted killers, freed the innocent when they could, and left the wicked in the dirt. The man who once wore chains became a legend whispered in fear, a shadow riding across the land with fire in his eyes and a gun that never missed. But love has a way of testing even the strongest souls. Their journey led them to a place built on blood and greed, a mansion ruled by a man who smiled like a gentleman but reigned like a tyrant. He was charming, intelligent, and utterly ruthless. In his world, cruelty was entertainment and suffering was a show. To save the woman he loved, the freed man had to walk straight into the lion's den, dressed as something he wasn't, playing a game of lies and danger. Every glance, every word, every second at that table was a gamble with death. And then it all fell apart. Deceit collided with pride, and pride exploded into violence. Blood on white walls, screams in the air, a fragile dream collapsing under the weight of hatred. The man who gave him freedom paid the ultimate price for it. And in that loss, the fire that had driven him turned into an inferno. He became something else entirely, not a slave, not a partner, but vengeance itself. He didn't hide. He didn't beg. He returned, alone. One man against an army. One man against centuries of cruelty. And he tore that house down, brick by brick, life by life, until all that was left was silence. In the end, he stood with the woman who had haunted his dreams, free at last under the burning sky. Together, they rode away from the ashes, leaving behind a world that had tried to crush them both. It wasn't just revenge, it was justice. It was love that refused to die. He began as a man in chains. He became the man who broke them, for himself, for her, for everyone who had ever been told they couldn't be free. Because sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a gun, it's a heart that refuses to bow. Can you guess the movie?